Hi guys, so today is Wednesday, and today you're going to be multiplying with 4, just like you did with 3. It's almost the exact same worksheet as you did with the 3s, so I think you're going to be just fine on it. Remember on the top, you're going to skip count by 4 and use the number line. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and go all the way across, and you can do the same down here and write the numbers here, okay? Now you've got a couple arrays to do down at the bottom. And same thing on the back. Ooh, be careful down here, guys. Down here, on a couple of these, you're gonna, let's see. Yeah, a couple. I'll give you a hint. This. You're gonna notice that you're gonna need to do your poem. Remember, if there's more on the top, no need to stop, which is the case with these guys. Look at the ones place, see that? But if there's more on the floor in the ones place, you've got to go next door and get 10 more, okay? I'll do this one with you really quick so you can remember. So there's more on the floor in the ones place, so we have to go next door. We cross out our 3, we turn it into a 2 because we're gonna put the group of 10 over here. We move the 1 right up next to here, and we now have 11 take away 9, which is what? Good, 2. And then we bring this 2 right down, 22. Okay? All right, that's your math for today. Get to learn about giraffes today for your reading. Let's see if I see any words in here. Ooh, here's one. Continent. Remember, continent, we talked about this in history. It's that big space of land. We are on the continent of North America, but there's also the continent of South America. There's the continent of Europe and Asia. This one, you're going to talk about the African continent because that's where giraffes live. Okay? Ooh, look at this word. This is a tricky word. Look, it looks like tongu, but it's not tongu. It's tongue. Tongue. Okay, so that one's tricky. They say it one more time here too. Tongue. Okay? So you're going to write the answers down here and remember to read it 3 times so it's nice and smooth. Okay? Now on this day, we're going to be talking about adjectives, but I gave you each a box of craisins. And you may choose to use the craisins or you may choose to do any other food that you want. We did this with pickles when we did pickle poetry, but now you get to kind of do it on your own. So I know they say a food item the teacher has given you, but if you want to use something else, that's totally fine. So I was thinking we could come up with some words of craisins, or if you have your own, you can do your own. So craisins kind of have a red color. So I might say red, and what they look like. And they're kind of wrinkly because they're a dried fruit. They're kind of wrinkly and they're pretty small. Okay, sound. Now sound is a hard one. We can think of what they sound like in our mouth, or we can think of what they sound like if we move them around. I think I might just come up with one for sound because it's kind of a hard one. I'm going to say, quiet, because they don't really make a lot of noise, do they? So let's do quiet. When they're in our mouth, they don't really make a bunch of noise. It's not crunchy or anything like that. So I'm just going to say quiet. Smell. Well, I think they smell kind of sweet. And taste. Now I could use sweet again here, couldn't I? Because a smell can be kind of sweet, but also a taste can be kind of sweet. Maybe I'll do this. Maybe I'll do sweet here, and instead of sweet up here, I'll do fruity. Or I could do the opposite. That would be fine either way. Sometimes smell and taste kind of go together. Okay, taste sweet. And a little bit tart. I noticed that they're a little bit tart. And how do they feel? Wrinkly. Oh, that we already used that for our look. But if you wanted to, you could put your wrinkly down here. Or we could say bumpy, because they are kind of bumpy. And, what's another one for feel? They're kind of squishy. So we could say squishy because when you have them in your hand, they're a little squishy. Okay. All right. If you need to, you can pause the video right here when you get through the whole video because you might want to use these same words that I used, and that's totally fine. Or you might have some extra words that you want to include. Either way is fine too. But when you have your words on this side, then you're going to flip it over to the other side and you're going to write a paragraph that tells about your food item. Okay, so the food item that I chose was craisins. And I'm going to try my very best to make sure I have capitals and periods. So here's my title, craisins. And I'm going to indent a little bit because we're going to do a paragraph. And we always indent for a paragraph. Craisins are, and I'm going to flip over my page so I can look at what I said for the look. Red, wrinkly, small. So I could put that into a sentence. Red, comma, because we're going to be listing things. Wrinkly, comma, and then before we do our last thing that we list, we add and. Red, wrinkly, and what did I say? Small. And then I need to do my period, okay? Now my next sentence is going to be, I flip over my chart, about what it sounds like. So I could say craisins again, or I could say they. Maybe since I already used craisins, I'll write they. They, remember no A in they, it's EY. They are quiet, period, okay? Now I'm going to use my chart again. Fruity. Now I could say they, or I could say craisins, or I could say maybe fruity is the smell craisins have, or most craisins are fruity, or craisins have a fruity smell. Either one is fine, okay? And then same thing with taste, okay? A craisin is sweet and tart. Okay? Craisins feel bumpy and squishy, whatever you want to do, okay? And then after you get all that written, so pretend I'm writing all my other adjectives in here. Oh, I'm telling about how it's squishy. Oh, here I go. I'm telling about all the others. Once I get to the end of my chart and I've filled them all out, okay, you're going to need a closing sentence. Remember, something that's going to close all of your writing. You could say, I love craisins. You could say, learning about craisins is fun. You can say craisins are the best, okay? And here's another thing. If you don't like craisins and your list is about yucky stuff, that's fine. I don't care, as long as you're using adjectives, okay? So maybe your whole writing is about how they're gross. Remember, some of you wrote about how you didn't like the pickle. I think most of you probably will like craisins, but if that happens, that's okay. But you do need a closing sentence. So since I like craisins and I wrote about how I like them, I'm going to put a closing sentence about how I like them. And I'm going to say craisins are the best. And I'm going to put an exclamation at the end because I think that gives it a little extra oomph to tell my reader that I really like them. Okay, I'm going to flip this over like this so that you can see that, okay, if you need to pause it right now, okay? All right, bye guys.